Imagine walking alone into a shopping mall that has been completely sealed for 17 years. The parking lot is an ocean of broken asphalt and waste, high weeds. Every single entrance is welded shut, boarded over, or wrapped in chains thick logging chain. Yet somehow people keep getting inside. And once they're in, some of them swear the building itself tries to keep them. This is not fiction. This is Rolling Acres Mall in Akron, Ohio, 1,300,000 square foot tomb that took 15 years to die in plain sight and has spent the last 17 refusing to stay dead. Everything you are about to hear comes from police reports, 911 transcripts, security logs, body cam footage, court records, and first-hand interviews I did with people who went inside after dark and still check under their beds at night. By the time this ends, you will understand why the city spent $23 million trying to erase this place from the earth, and why, even tonight, huge sections of it are still standing. Rolling Acres opened on August 6, 1975, and for a few golden years, it was everything America wanted to be. 2 sprawling floors, 5 massive anchor stores, a glass-roofed atrium with live trees and a bubbling fountain, escalators that gleamed like chrome waterfalls, a 9-screen cinema, a food court that smelled like cinnamon pretzels and hope. On opening day, 30,000 people showed up. Little kids rode the indoor carousel while their parents spent money they didn't have yet. For a decade, it was the heartbeat of Akron. Then the heartbeat started skipping. Crime crept in from the surrounding neighborhoods. Stores began fleeing to shinier malls 20 miles away. And by the early 90s, the place was bleeding tenants faster than the owners could patch the leaks. Foot traffic dropped, fountains went dry, entire wings went dark to save on electricity. The last Christmas season with decorations was 1997. JCPenney hung on until April 30, 2006. When their gates came down for good, the mall still had power for exactly 6 more months. On Halloween night 2008, the final security guard flipped the master breaker, locked the last working door, and walked away. The building was sold to a California investment group that immediately stopped paying property taxes. Within 2 years, Rolling Acres became the single largest abandoned structure in the state of Ohio, and one of the most illegally entered buildings in America. The first truly bizarre police reports start in the summer of 2009. Motion sensors that were supposed to be dead keep tripping. Officers arrive to find chains they personally wrapped around the doors, now lying neatly coiled on the ground. Fresh footprints in the dust lead down a corridor, reach the middle of the hallway, and simply stop. No turnaround marks, no second set going back, just gone. Handprints appear on the inside of second-story windows that are 30 feet off the ground with no fire escape or ladder anywhere near them. Copper thieves, the hardest of the hard, the guys who will crawl through raw sewage for $20 worth of wire, start turning down jobs at Rolling Acres. One of them told Akron PD, and I quote, "I've gutted 100 dead malls from Jersey to California. This one watches you. I felt it breathing on the back of my neck. I'm never going back." By 2011, the city is receiving actual 911 calls from inside a building that has had no electricity for 3 years. The calls always follow the same pattern: 30 seconds of wet, heavy breathing, then distant screaming that sounds like it's coming from underwater, and finally a little girl, maybe 7 or 8 years old, whispering, "Mommy, they're right behind you." Every single call traces to one of the old mall payphones, phones that were physically removed and sold for scrap in 2007. Dispatch thinks it's kids with burner cells until October 13, 2011. Officer Daniel Kaiser drives out alone at 3:14 a.m. His body cam records him walking the entire perimeter at 3:19 a.m. The microphone picks up that same little girl's voice, crystal clear, coming from inside the glass. "Mommy, they're right behind you." Kaiser spins around. There is no one there. He is the only living person for half a mile in every direction. That same year, 4 urban explorers who ran a YouTube channel called Dead Mall Walkers decide Rolling Acres will be their big Halloween special. Their names were Chris, Megan, Derek, and Steph. They sneak in through a loading dock that had been welded shut the week before. The welds are ice, gold and snapped like glass. They set up base camp in the old Sears atrium, string LED lights, GoPros running, planning to stay until sunrise. Their archived footage is still online if you know the unlisted links. At 2:17 a.m., Chris's headlamp sweeps across the upper sales floor and catches movement between the mannequins. Mannequins that, according to city auction records, were sold off in 2008. There should be nothing up there but bare metal racks. Megan zooms in. Dozens of naked plastic figures stand in perfect rows, cracked and sun-bleached, but every single head is slowly turning to track the group. Derek laughs nervously, blames wind currents. 37 seconds later, every camera and flashlight dies simultaneously, even though they're all on fresh lithium batteries. The last 8 minutes of recoverable footage is night vision green hell. 4 flashlights flick on and off like dying fireflies while something that makes thick, wet, slapping footsteps chases them. Through the service corridors behind the stores, you hear Chris screaming Megan's name, then Derek yelling that something just grabbed his ankle. The final frame shows Steph's camera hitting the ground, lens pointing up at the ceiling. A shadow that is far too tall and far too thin leans into view, featureless, joints bending wrong, and then the memory card corrupts. Only 3 of them crawled back out just before dawn. Chris has not been seen since. Police searched for 5 days and found nothing. No body, no backpack, no blood. Just his camera lying in the middle of the floor with the battery compartment melted shut. After that video leaked, Rolling Acres became urban exploration mecca and the city's worst nightmare. They tripled patrols, installed motion-activated floodlights, welded every door 3 times over, and still teenagers kept posting new footage. In 2014, a 17-year-old Ashley Marie goes in alone with a handheld camcorder because her friends bailed. Her 43-minute video is the most disturbing thing I have ever watched. She walks the upper level joking about how creepy it is, voice echoing, until she reaches the old KB Toys. The gates are down but the glass panels are missing. Inside, hundreds of stuffed animals are arranged in perfect circles on the floor, all facing inward like they're watching something in the center. Ashley laughs, says it's probably a prank, steps over the gate. The second her foot touches the carpet, every single stuffed animal snaps its head toward her. Not turns, snaps like a spasm. She screams and runs. The rest of the video is her sprinting through the mall, while what sounds like hundreds of tiny plastic feet skitter behind her. She makes it out, collapses in the parking lot crying hysterically. 2 weeks later, she is committed after telling doctors the toys followed her home and sit on her bed at night. In 2016, the city finally convinces a demolition company to take the contract. Crews show up with excavators and wrecking balls ready to spend 6 months reducing the place to rubble. 3 days in, every piece of heavy equipment refuses to start. Mechanics find batteries drained to zero, fuel lines filled with what lab tests confirm is human blood plasma. The company walks off the job. A second company tries in 2017, same thing, plus their foreman swears he watched a little girl in a red dress walk straight into a solid concrete wall and vanish. Demolition is postponed indefinitely. Between 2017 and 2021, there are 37 documented cases of missing persons last seen in or around Rolling Acres. Most are ruled runaways, but 5 of them left their cars in the parking lot, with keys still in the ignition and phones inside playing voicemails they never recorded. In 2022, a TikToker named a Dead Boy Live streams himself spending the night. At 3:33 a.m., the stream cuts to black. When it comes back 30 seconds later, he is standing perfectly still in the atrium staring straight up. Chat is spamming "Dude blink." He doesn't blink for 4 full minutes. Then, in a voice that is absolutely not his, he says, "We've been waiting for new friends." The stream ends. His account posts one final video 3 days later. 15 minutes of empty corridors while children's laughter echoes louder and louder until the audio peaks and the account is deleted. He has not been heard from since. The last time anyone officially entered was March of this year, 2025. A demolition crew finally succeeded in bringing down the old J.C. Penney wing after the city paid them triple hazard pay and made them sign NDA thicker than phone books. Workers reported constant radio chatter about shadows moving on the upper floors, even though that section had been gutted to bare concrete. On the third day, a laborer named Marcus Tate disappears during a 10-minute smoke break. His hard hat is found on the roof, placed neatly beside a little girl's red shoe that forensics says is soaked in blood from 1993. They pulled everyone out and canceled the rest of the job. Tonight, right now, as I record this, huge parts of Rolling Acres are still standing. The atrium, the food court, the cinema, most of the second floor, all of it waiting under a roof that leaks black water no one can identify. Drones sent in last month show fresh handprints on walls that were sandblasted clean the week before. Motion cameras capture figures walking past at 3:33 a.m. every single night, always the same height as a child, always vanishing before they reach the edge of the frame. Akron won't talk about it anymore. The police blotter lists calls to the address as false alarm, known vacant structure, but the 911 tapes still come in. Always the same little girl, always the same whisper, "Mommy, they're right behind you." If you ever drive past I-77 through Akron at night, you'll see it on the hill, windows black, weeds swallowing the signs. Whatever is inside has had 17 years to get comfortable, 17 years to learn the hallways, 17 years to wait for the next group of new friends. Don't give it 18.